y'all ready now. Everybody say, it's my time.
It's my time.
Sit down. It's your time. You know who I'm talking about. You. It's time to leave the stage behind and be real. And there's nothing real about what you're doing if you're lying to yourself. Don't you want to be happy? Don't you want more out of life? Well, then tell yourself that satisfaction isn't enough. We all want fulfillment. It's not a question of whether or not it's possible. Conquering is part of your description. It is in your nature. The will to overcome and produce was designed to be a part of your genetic makeup. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What is it that you're doing? What made you stop pursuing? Sure, it's hard and it takes time. Sure, you might lose comfort in sleep. Sure, it might be frightening. But so what if that's all you've got to be truly filled full? No more self-doubt. No more self-destruction. Just self-discipline and self-development. If you consider yourself a child of God, then start showing some of your father's traits. Just do it, and don't stop working until your life has meaning. I want you to look 3 people at the table in their eyes. Shake their hands like you're a millionaire and say, it's your time. 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 Yes, it's your time. You're in the right place. You traveled from around the world to be here. Guess what? It was worth it. Those that are not in this room, they're missing out. Raise your hand if you know that already. Don't feel sorry for them. It's not their time. It's not. You were given this. Recently, I went into the studio and I recorded a scene. I was so inspired by being back with my dad. I was so inspired by being blessed to be traveling the world with Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, because there was a time where I could not see the person that you see right now. I didn't want to see him. My dad saw him. Thank you, Dad. And so I want you to make the decision that this event is not an event. This is a new beginning for your time. Many of you all are parents, and you're great parents. Many of you all have worked for other people, and you might be great at that, at serving others. I know what it's like to serve. I know what it's like to go through security and tie a person's shoes to make sure that they just don't have to stoop over, because I don't want my dad to have to bend over to tie his shoes. He's done enough. Let me tie them for you. Okay? And you probably served. Raise your hand if you ever served somebody. Raise your hand if you ever gave somebody everything you got. And raise your hand if you ever thought to yourself, man, if I invested that in me, I'd be in a whole nother place right now. Raise it. Okay. You can relate to that? I want you to make up your mind right now that those days are over. Why? Can you all move? Or I need you all to get close. We don't have a presentation, but can you all come close? Is that okay? Just bring your chairs with you. I want to show you some things of a presentation that I developed, and just bring it back. Just come in, get close with me, because there are some things happening right now globally, and you are now working with the best. So yeah, come on in. I want to make sure that everybody can see this, because I put together this presentation specifically for those that would like to be a full-time speaker in their career. Raise your hand if you want to do this full-time, not part-time. Okay, great. We're brothers and sisters now. It's not too many people that can understand me. It's okay to stand, but I want you all to get in. Can you see this? Can you see this? Everybody see this? What does it say? Develop a group voice. What does it say? Now ask it like a question. What does it say?
Is your life a warning or an example?
Lower pitch. Raise your hand if you've been both. Now, this is why I wanted you to get close. Just for this one slide. I've got a lot of things in here, but I want you to see this. This shocked me. Okay? Wait for it. Wait for it. It says country, ratio of pay, CEO versus average worker. So what is this chart telling us about? It is talking about in each country how much the ratio of pay is CEO versus the average worker. Okay? You all understand what this chart is talking about? Great. The first country is what? Japan. The first country is what? Japan. And it says the ratio of pay of CEO versus average worker is what? 11 to 1. Let's go to the next one. The next one is what? Germany. The ratio of pay is what? 12 to 1. Okay. Let's skip down. Let's go to South Africa. What is it in South Africa? Everybody can see this. You realize why I brought you over here? I wanted you to see this. I don't care about a screen. Now let's go to Mexico. What is it? 47 to 1. I designed this presentation 4 years ago. I never got to deliver it. Now you get it. It's your time, okay? I haven't shared this with anybody. You get it. Now let's just go down to Venezuela. What is it? Now what does it say in the United States? Go back to your seats. Go back to your seats. Go back to your seats. My point has been made. Go back to your seats. Quickly. Quickly. With a sense of urgency. And you think about that. What country are we in right now? We are in the United States of America. When you decide to be a speaker, you are not a talker. You are a CEO of a speaking business in an industry that does $12 billion a year in the U.S. alone, $65 billion worldwide, and that's not including the LOHAS market, the lifestyle of health and sustainability, where if you got anything close to a six-pack, then you could go into a new market that's worth over $226 billion. Everybody say, it's my what? There I was, a little kid, growing up in not a dysfunctional environment. I had a dad that turned dysfunction into prosperity. Mamie Brown was not a motivational speaker. She was a motivational beater. She would beat your behind into being motivated. He's laughing because he still feels the scars. She adopted 7 children, and she adopted one weapon, and she called it Moses. She had a board wrapped around with tape. And the reason why I say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, because if grandma said Moses, you better say yes, ma'am. But he knew that she didn't have to adopt any kids. He wanted to make his mom proud. That's how he's done all of this. He didn't know he was going to be a CEO. He didn't care about $60 million. None of that. He knew that if he didn't, he was going to get Moses. And I grew up happy. I grew up when people say, how are you doing? Most kids, they text now. They just respond in a text. Me, when they say, how are you doing? I said, rich and happy. And adults would look at me crazy. Rich and happy. And it's because I grew up in an environment where I was told, you're rich. You might as well be happy. But guess what? I didn't earn any riches yet. I wasn't rich. My mind was. I'm rich now, and I've earned it. But at that point, I was calling it forth. You're here because you're not there yet, but you're calling it forth. He had his time, didn't he? He had the 70s. He had the 80s. You know he got elected in 1976 before he was Les Brown? He's the best. He had the 70s. He had the 80s. He had the 90s. He just got back from South Africa and Poland in 2014. He's traveling with the guy that did The Pursuit of Happiness, Chris Gardner. They're on stage. Chris Gardner says, Les Brown, please don't be in there when I speak. Please go hide. I don't want you to hear me. And I'm telling you that he's had his time. It used to anger me that he would give so much to you all, pour so much in you, take you to the studio, record with you. Dad, they're never gonna be, come on, man, let's just focus on us. I got this. No, you know what? Nobody gave him a shot. Nobody gave him a chance. Nobody said, let me take you in the studio and put you in front of a green screen and take the profits, take away from my own profits to pay for you to be prepared if you ever get an interview. Use my brand to put you on camera and position you as the expert. If he would have had that, goodness gracious. He had to work it. He had to make 100 calls a day. He had to sleep on the floor of the Penobscot building. He had to join Toastmasters. He had to join the National Speakers Association. He had to get rejected. He had to show up in audience and say, hold on, we thought Les Brown and the Band of Renown is coming. And by the time they left, they said that band is renowned. So I just say that to say it's your time. And I was in a workshop, a different workshop, with Dr. Julie Van Putten. And I remember before she ever gave a speech. And I'm very critical of speakers. I'm not nice. If you want positive feedback, go to somebody else. I don't care. If you get up on a microphone and say you were trained by Les Brown and you embarrass us, I have a problem with you. Just keeping it real. And I sat there with an attitude, looking at Dr. Julie Van Putten. She was changing my life. I said, this isn't the same person that I had dinner with several years ago. This isn't the same person I was in the training several years ago when I left and I was pursuing my music, because it's difficult to be in here. You got to wake up early. You got to show up. You got to get on a plane. You got to come in the room. We can be late. Les Brown's never late. You don't care if we don't show up. He always shows up. Everybody say, show up. I was on my 15th birthday. I got a trophy, and it said, I got a quote for my birthday, isn't it? And it said that 90% of success is what? Is showing up. So fast forward. I'm going to go by real fast. The top speaker in the world is Les Brown, and the top speaker coach is Ona Brown. I just want you to know that. The top life coach in the world is Tony Robbins. The top speaker in the world is Les Brown. The top speaker coach is Ona Brown. Why? I've been there behind the scenes, and I've watched the difference that she's made in his message or mine. But I got the opportunity to travel when I was about 23 years old. I spoke for an organization that was geared towards CEOs, and I went on a 27-city tour. And this is major for me. You know why? Everybody say, I earned it. No. You got to feel it. Think of something that you earned that they didn't expect you to earn. Think of the places that you've been where you weren't even allowed to go and say, I earned it. I have been in this industry for 20 years. I just turned 30. But the first time that I spoke, it was not at this beautiful hotel. It was not for a prestigious CEO organization or for Bishop T.D. Jakes or any of that. No. The first time that I ever gave a speech was when I was 10 years old. And on my 10-year-old birthday, the day that you're happy, you got the double digits. You know that feeling. I'm 10. The same kid that says, I'm rich and happy. My 10-year-old birthday, May 22nd, my grandmother, Mrs. Mamie Brown, she passed away from breast cancer. And I remember thinking about the stories that my dad used to tell about her. And I, as a little kid, I really questioned if my family could make it without her. Has anyone ever lost someone that meant the world to you? The pillar of your family? And you just can't imagine what your life is going to be like without them? But a couple days later, during the funeral, they asked if anyone wanted to get up and share their heart about Mamie Brown. And there, without anyone telling me to, without it being on the program, I got up and I gave my first speech because something deep inside me was sitting there in that church. And I knew that my grandmother, she wasn't there anymore. But I said, it's your time. Use your voice. Tell a story. I did not know that because of that experience, I would travel around the world. I did not know because of that experience, my dad would see something in me and I would start creating over $2,500 an hour. And I don't care about the money that I've made. I know I've made more money than you all. But I'm telling you this, I do this for Mamie Brown. Who are you doing this for? Write this down. S, seeds of hope. I want to talk to you about showing up in the speaking industry. Les Brown had 9 seeds of hope. They were named John Leslie, Patrick, Calvin, Serena. You don't know them. Those were his seeds of hope. That's why he's the best. We weren't going to grow up in poverty like he was. When my grandmother could not clean homes anymore and she was arrested for selling moonshine and you had 7 adopted kids, the baby boy went out there and sold bottle caps. That's some old school stuff. Young people, y'all know about that. They, for money, and then that didn't work. He was asked, can I rake your lawn? Can I help? What can I do? He didn't say, can I give a speech? That's not how we started. What can I do? And then, okay, some young kids are doing door-to-door sales on TV. Y'all know those stories. Okay, let me do that. And then while everybody else is going door-to-door, can you want to buy a television? Oh, no, and they want to go home, and he's staying there because if he doesn't sell a TV, he can't feed his 6 other brothers and sisters. You know what he said when he knocked on every door? It's my time. I'm not going home until they realize it.